Hi everyone, and welcome back to My Rich Life. Or if you're new here, I'm so glad you found your way to this little corner of the internet. Welcome! My name is Nadine, and it's a little bit of a rainy day today, so I want to share something a bit more personal with you. My story, my relationship with money, and why I care so deeply about personal finance. Not just as numbers on a spreadsheet, but as a form of self-respect, stability, and healing. Because this channel isn't just about budgeting tips or investment advice, though we definitely do that too. It's about something bigger. It's about rebuilding after loss, reclaiming your sense of security, rising into a version of yourself that feels calm, empowered, and well-resourced. And for me, that journey didn't start with a paycheck or a financial goal. It started way back in childhood, in moments when things felt steady, and then in the moments when that steadiness slipped away. Growing up, my family was solidly upper middle class, and for most of my early life, that meant a lot of comfort, the kind of quiet security you don't really notice when you're small because it feels so normal. We flew for vacations, like real get-on-the-plane holidays, and stayed in hotels where the beds were always perfectly made and breakfast came in little silver trays. I went to academic summer camps and had extracurriculars stacked through the week, like dance, piano, art classes, swim lessons. We went out to nice restaurants at least once a month, and they were the kind with cloth napkins and complicated desserts, and I was always eating off of the adult menu, and I had some really lovely clothes, like things that made me feel polished and put together even as a kid. And I was lucky to grow up surrounded by a lot of cultural enrichment. Trips to museums, theater performances, concerts, exhibits, and I got to feel curious, inspired, and most importantly, safe. There was always food in the fridge, the bills were always paid, and I didn't think much about money because I didn't have to. But as I got older, I realized that comfort I took for granted was not invincible. That security that I thought was permanent was actually fragile. Like many good things, my standard of life didn't take much to start to fade, and I didn't even know what I should have been appreciating until it was gone. My dad got laid off, and while he eventually found another job, and it was a decent one, it just didn't compare to the one he'd lost. That shift was quiet but real. We were no longer comfortably upper middle class. We were middle class now, solidly. Honestly. And for the first time, I began to feel what that meant. The way we lived changed. The rhythm of our life slowed down. There were fewer dinners out, fewer trips. I started noticing how my parents talked about money more, with that edge of stress behind it. There were more careful decisions, more things we had to say no to. And even though we still had a roof over our heads and food on the table, it felt like something had dimmed. My quality of life felt less rich, not in the flashy sense, but in the little things that enrich people's lives, shows, activities, and the sense that things were okay. I could tell my family wasn't quite as happy, not devastated, but different, a little heavier, and it was the first time I truly realized that financial security doesn't just affect what you have, it affects how you feel, how you live, and how you connect with the people you love. Eventually, my dad lost his job again, and not long after that, he passed away. It's hard to explain what this kind of loss feels like. It wasn't just losing a parent. It was like the foundation of everything we had known crumbled overnight. Emotionally, it was unbearable. Grieving someone you love while watching your world unravel in real time is something no one is ever prepared for. And financially, it was catastrophic. There were medical bills, months of uncertainty, gaps in insurance, and no real safety net to catch us. Suddenly, every decision was about making it to the next month. We weren't just a middle class anymore. We had slipped into what I now understand as a working class reality. Things that once felt normal, takeout dinners, new clothes, little treats, became luxuries. There was this ever-present tension, this sense that the smallest unexpected expense could knock everything off balance. I felt deprived in ways I couldn't always name at the time, not just of things, but of ease, of options, and of peace. And the hardest part was knowing that so much of it might have been preventable. If we had taken better care of our personal finances from the very beginning, so much of this fallout could have been avoided, and we wouldn't have spiraled the way we did. That realization stuck with me. It still does. That experience wasn't just a shock, it was a wake-up call, and not just a moment of fear, though there was plenty of that. It awakened something deeper in me, a hunger to understand, to prepare, to protect. I never wanted to feel that vulnerable again, like life could shift beneath me without warning and I'd have no say in it. So I started learning, quietly at first, in between classes or at night, flipping through books on personal finance, watching videos, creating makeshift budgets in the notes app on my phone. I devoured everything I could about saving, credit, investing, the psychology of spending, not because I wanted to become some kind of finance bro or spreadsheet wizard, but because I knew that this knowledge was power. I started to see money not just as a goal, but as a tool, a form of self-respect, a way to create stability when the world around you feels anything but stable, a way to take care of your future self the way you take care of someone you love. And as I learned more, something shifted again. This time inside me, I realized I didn't want to just claw my way back to the life my family had before things changed. I wanted more. I wanted freedom, ease, dignity. I wanted to rewrite what stability could look like, not just for myself, but for the future I might one day build. This wasn't just about regaining lost ground. It was about rising beyond it, about breaking patterns and creating something stronger, something softer, something lasting. My rich life, built from the ground up. That's why I started My Rich Life, not to show off some picture-perfect version of success, but to build something meaningful, and to do it intentionally, to build safety, joy, and long-lasting abundance, not just for myself, but for anyone else who's felt the rug pulled out from under them. Because I know I'm not the only one. Maybe you weren't taught about money growing up. Maybe no one ever showed you how to budget, invest, plan ahead. Maybe you're the first in your family trying to build real lasting wealth, or the only one carrying the pressure to break cycles and create something better. Or maybe you're just tired of scraping by, tired of treating peace like a luxury, and ready to trade survival mode for something richer, fuller, and more free. If that's you, I see you. I am you, and this space, this is for us. Together, we're going to learn to grow and create lives that feel secure and expansive at the same time. This isn't just about money. It's about building a life we're proud to wake up to. So that's my story. It's not all polished, and it's certainly not all pretty, but it's mine. And more than anything, it's the reason I'm here, not just to talk about money, but to build something better, to create a life bit by bit that feels intentional, generous, grounded, and free. I believe in taking what we've been through, every setback, every loss, every quiet heartbreak, and turning it into a foundation for something sturdier, something richer. That's what My Rich Life is all about. If any of this resonates with you, I'd be honored to have you along for this journey. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, and let's grow together. I'd love to hear your story too, your why, your big goals, your quiet hopes. Drop them in the comments below, because wherever you're starting from, however uncertain it may feel, You deserve a life that feels abundant in all the ways that matter. And that journey, it starts here, it starts now, and we'll build it together.